Hi, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the SB Elevate podcast. My name is Andy, and I'm so excited today to have with me Kevin, Deepti, and Jim. And we're going to kick it off for everybody. So no pressure, guys.
Yeah.
No pressure. But we want to talk about SB Elevate, what we're doing here in the South Bay, how we're looking to reach the business community, the community at large, and share with people what's good about South Bay, what's working, and other things that can help you have success in our awesome city. So Kevin, Deepti, Jim, thank you for coming in today.
Well,
Thanks
for having us.
So which one of you wants to go first?
Kevin.
Kevin? Oh, we're not. Well,
Let's take it. I'll take the football, run with it.
if you point and volunteer someone else, you have to go. No.
Sure. Bring
We
it
can start with Kevin because I do want to talk. Kevin, you know a lot of people around South Bay. You were in business here for several decades. For those of you who are new to you, please tell everyone, where did you start? What business did you have? And congratulations on being retired
Yes.
and
Thank you.
successfully
Thank you.
living the life.
Thank you.
You made the exit that everyone talks about.
Well, it's funny. So me and my wife started CopyLink 3 months after we got married. So we got married in '89, started it in January, and never imagined how awesome Chula Vista would be to do business in. Seriously, so many incredible people we've gotten to meet over the years that we never, I didn't go to college. I wasn't that educated, and I got to meet so many educated, smart people that love our city. But as you know, especially you, first year, being a business owner, it's lonely on top, right? And without building networks of other business owners that can share ideas, it's super lonely. And so I think the key to our success was we weren't that smart, so we had to seek a lot of smart people, right? And for 35 years, we ran a great business serving all the schools and the state offices and the small business owners. And of course, 4 years ago, we were fortunate enough to sell it to venture capitalists and did really well. And now we're giving back to small businesses to help elevate their game.
Well, I want to go back to that point right there where you made this transition. Congratulations on the sale of your company. I'm going to come back later because I want to talk to each of you about what's changed in corporate life and the life of businesses over the course of time, because there's so much stuff changing in the business landscape. But before we jump to that, did you already have the idea of SB Elevate when you retired and you sold your company?
Me and Michael were brewing the idea up. So it was pretty much close to the time of I already sold the company and gearing towards stepping down from the company. And we both have a passion for giving back to the community because the community has been so good to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know a lot has changed since 1989, hasn't it?
Oh my God, has it? Has it ever?
What was the first machine you sold in 1989? Was it a fax machine even? Or was it a copier?
It was a copier, but picture a toaster oven. Right? You know how you put toaster in, the red things line up?
Mm-hmm.
The paper would go through the toaster oven to fuse the toner on it. That's how old it was, the technology.
Wow.
And now it's, digital. You can print from your phone, scan to everything. I mean, it's amazing communication devices.
Yeah. You've had to go through a lot over 35 years of changing technology, I'm sure. It's probably an overstatement of the show already. Well, here we go. Well, Deepti, why don't you tell everyone who you are, and let's talk about your company for a second real quick to kind of set the stage.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having us, Andy. My name is Deepti. I am the owner and president of Comfort Care Home Care in Chula Vista. We cover all of South Bay and Coronado, and what it is an in-home care agency where we try to cater to individuals who want to stay in the comfort of their home, but also need some additional assistance with their non-medical needs. So we send caregivers to their home, try to understand their needs, and kind of tailor the care plan for each individual.
Yeah.
What I've done in the past, I was in tech for 23 years. Never thought this is what I would end up doing. I'm still learning. I'm grateful for SB Elevate. And the fact that Kevin did it in 89 and 35 years before I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
So, SB Elevate has been really, really helpful. Kevin, Michael, Jim, and everybody else. I'm glad that they did it before me. And I kind of, I'm piggybacking on their learning. And I don't feel alone the way Kevin was explaining because I have the support from all of them, including yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you're saying it that way. I think of these older shows I watch about covered wagons crossing west. And I'm thinking, man, I'm so glad someone did that before me. Because in my mind, I'm like, that looks really adventurous and fun. And then I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't have to do that, because now I get to, enjoy the benefit of having found the place the way it is now. The way it is now. So
Thankful
I
that
can
somebody
relate
used
to
a
that.
toaster oven copier.
Yeah.
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 So Jim, as someone who came here in a covered wagon,
Yes, yes. On the back.
so tell us about Prescott and Lowther, Jim.
So Prescott and Lowther Insurance, we specialize in health insurance for small business owners up to 100 employees. We help them, the business owners, navigate this confusing, expensive world of health insurance these days. And then we also have a large portion of our business geared towards Medicare eligible. So those that are over 65, helping them understand that transition from the insurance they've been used to for 65 years, and then it all goes away with government programs and the ABCs of all this language that they don't understand. So that's what we are. We're coming up on our 20th year, or my 20th year with the business, 52 years for our agency. So yeah, we came on the covered wagons too.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't want to wrangle Randy into this conversation, but
No,
he started this thing now
1972. 1972.
72. Wow, that's
54, right? 54 years.
That's crazy. Yeah, we'll work on math later.
Yeah,
That's
math is not
that's
my
fine.
strong.
We're looking for a mathematician in SB Elevate. If you know anybody who is good with a calculator, send them on over.
Exactly.
I want to start kind of where we are, like with just the business landscape, because it is crazy, right? So you have a 54-year-old business, you have a business that's been sold and one that's being started, and you have a tech background. People are bombarded with so many apps, so many methods of communication, so many people to follow up with, so many text messages to reply to, phone calls, mailers getting sent to your house, and things being left on your car. I want to ask this from both sides. What are some of the most effective ways for businesses to communicate to their client base now? And what are the things that you think are not working and why? So let's start with the first one. What are the best ways do you think that people can reach their ideal customers these days?
I think using networking events to reach out initially when you're trying to get things going. Personally, so I'm in a space that I have this weird technology is coming into the health insurance portion of it, but I deal with people over 65 as well. And those that are turning 65 are pretty tech savvy, but you go 67, 68, and there's where the gap is, right? So for me, it's still a personal one-to-one, give them a call. They're all email savvy, so I can do that. So that's a communication tool that I use. But then on the benefit side, it used to be that I would do every renewal for a small business in person, handing out papers. Here's the new benefits. Everybody has a 2-hour meeting in a lunchroom, and we provided donuts and sandwiches or whatever. Now nobody wants to meet in person. It's all online, and we try to have to use technology to still explain something that's a little bit unexplainable, like deductibles and copays and things that are putting people to sleep right now. So So it's a mix for us. I mean, we're trying to utilize AI and technology to make things easier for us and them, but they still need a one-to-one discussion on the phone or in person. So I don't know if that's the question you were going for, but that's the one I answered.
Yeah, when I want to survey kind of like what you see working for people, because there's almost, it seems like there's an unlimited amount of options, but not all of them work. And you've probably seen some things that don't work too, even if it was some other, like your competitors tried things that don't work.
Sure.
Can you think of one right away?
Well, I can say with the technology, I mean, I know I'll use the Medicare side, right? Because we got this flip, like all this technology is going towards seniors, but a lot of them still don't want to pick up the phone and look on an app. They can't order an Uber, but we're hoping that they do an app. Now, it's been very successful. There's some companies right here in Chula Vista that are very successful nationwide with their technologies for Medicare. But I'm finding that you just need to sit down with them and point on a piece of paper how this is going so they feel secure about what's going on. So I guess that's a success and a failure all at once, in my opinion, is the technology. It's like, some of it's skipping people and, to make things easier.
But in your description, you're saying it's also about understanding how to reach them in the way that's going to be most adequate for them to make the right choice.
And everybody's different. I have a husband and wife sit down and explaining one to the wife may be super tech savvy and the husband's like, looking for the door already. So So you have to use different methods for each person.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Deepti, you have a tech background, so I know your answer might be a little bit more varied, and I'll say you have a much more probably in-depth understanding than we do of the possibilities. But what's an effective way for local businesses here to reach their preferred client and customer?
Yeah, I would say, kind of similar to what Jim is saying. It depends on who your target population is, right? Are you targeting the people who need care in my industry, or are you targeting their kids who are more tech savvy, so to speak? And so it's a combination of, yes, I have Google Ads. I'm investing in Google Ads. I'm tweaking, I'm tuning. I'm doing it in-house because I'm a control freak. I want to see where it is going or whether the number is matching what I'm trying to do. But also, at the same time, where do you stop the use of technology? It's great when people are searching for your name and your name pops up because you have a paid Google ad out there. But end of the day, when they see your number and call you, they still want to hear a voice at the end. And so where I have kind of in the last 1 year experimenting with things, they don't want to hear an AI voice at the other end. Chat is fine when they come to the website and they want to chat about stuff. AI is fine up to a certain point. So kind of gauging where you stop that and where you actually bring in a human person. Literally 2 weeks ago, a lady said, I called 3 places. You were the only person who actually picked up the phone. And so I don't want to know anything else. I want to go with you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big that's a big pit stop right there. That's a big nugget. I mean, just the fact that there are your competitors who are stopping short of that, that could create a huge opportunity for you as a business in town.
Absolutely. And if we really look at it as, human beings also, every family is going through it in the moment. They don't want to talk to AI. They don't want to explain it to an AI, voice. They want to talk to somebody who would listen to their specific needs and say, you know what, I'm going to come talk to you in person and let's walk through this together.
Yeah. And they're making a really big decision.
Absolutely.
Who they're going to invite to come and care for their loved one in their place and their private space. That's a big decision. And an emotionally, can be an emotionally heavy decision too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't had to make that one yet, but I think about it, to be honest. I think about I'm going to have these conversations and make these choices at some point. So that's good to know. Kevin, over a 3-decade plus career of providing customer service and sales in this part of town, what is an effective way for businesses to meet their customer where they're at?
Well, it's kind of funny. It's old school, right? Both knocking on doors, being 80% of life is showing up, right? But also being a trusted advisor, not just to your clients, but having center of influences that go after the same type of clients that you go after, right? So like my business was obviously technology, copiers, printers, screens. So I would work with commercial brokers, with CPAs, with people that sold phone systems, security systems, and we would build a network where we would share each other's clients and bring each other in on joint meetings, right? And when you have somebody else validate that you're a good person to go to, right? The amount of money that would cost to advertise to get that same feeling as somebody that you already trust, saying this is a good person. And like me and Jim at the last networking event, I was showing people that in my phone, I have a photo album called referrals because I can't remember everyone's names anymore. But if someone says I need a plumber, I can go right through it and go up, here's your plumber. I need an insurance guy. Here's the insurance guy, right? And so referrals, it's sort of like thank you notes. The more you put out, the more come back your way. So if you're really looking at taking care of your clients, you want your clients calling you for everything but your business. Who do you use for advertising? Who's your attorney? Who's your CPA? Be that trusted advisor.
It's a great answer, and it's also congruent with what you're doing for SB Elevate. I mean, you're describing, being that person when you were in business, and that's a great way to continue having business and scale and develop and grow over time. But that's you and Michael have infused that into the whole core concept of SB Elevate, so that people who are connected can connect each other with other people in their atmospheres, and that's been really effective.
Yep. And the difference between me and Michael is Michael can remember everybody's names, and I can't. So I need to have a little technique to be able to pull that business card up. Because really, in your phone, you have thousands and thousands of contacts over the years, right? Yeah. So going through it would be hard. So people that I really want to refer a lot, I have in my folder album.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about SB Elevate a little bit too. I want to make sure that people understand, what they should expect from coming to SB Elevate events. So let's kind of like inside out let's talk a little bit inside baseball on what's going on with SB Elevate, but also we've started to see more and more people come to the events in person, more and more people come to the panel discussions. I think part of that is the topic, and part of that is the people that we're engaging, and also the need of our business community to close that gap between, I need to learn more about AI, for example, and these people are going to talk about it, I should go there. So, let's talk about what the emphasis is in conducting these in-person events, and then I want to talk a little bit about like what the experience has been like.
Yeah. Well, I would say we definitely quizzed our audience on what they need. So we do the Elevate Exchange on the second Wednesday of every month from 4 to 5, where business owners register a question. That question is never said this person is asking it. We just ask the question to the audience because we want people to be able to ask real hard questions. Like we had one where two partners, they were going through successful business, but they had some cash flow issues. So the one partner wanted to cut back all expenses. The other one wanted to increase advertising to drive more sales. Both are right, but you need to get them to the table to talk with each other on that, right? So after doing that, that's how we come up with the conferences. We had a lot of questions on AI, so we did the AI conference. Then we had a lot of questions on sales and marketing, how to do that properly. Like Jim, you were talking about networking events. There's a way to do a networking event right, and there's a way to do it wrong. And if you're going to do something, you have to do it 100%. So we really listen to what the community needs, and we try to elevate everybody's game with that.
Yeah. That's great. So Deepti, I know I've seen you at several of the events and also at the Elevate Exchange on the Zoom meetings too. What's something that you're currently able to kind of directly correlate your experience in SB Elevate to what you're doing now in business?
So strategizing where I want, what I have to do to take the business to the next level. I think a lot of the sessions about marketing and the use of AI, all of these are relevant, but also going back to the networking events, as you mentioned, and as Jim mentioned, I think one thing I would say is like kind of keep doing it because you're not going to get anything out of it if you attend one here and one there. There are tons of networking events, but something like SB Elevate, which is very focused on helping small businesses. I think consistency is the key. Attend, network with those people, ask questions, whether you want to do anonymously through the Elevate Exchange or you want to ask somebody like Kevin or Michael, say, hey, I don't know this. And it's a fair thing to say, I don't know what to do. And so, for example, I'm trying to see if we can host a veterans breakfast event going forward once in a month. And I am not afraid to ask, hey, do you think this is going to be okay? Like, what does your experience tell me? Where can I go? I don't know how to find a venue. I don't know where to look for veterans. The idea is to see if we can help veterans, solve the problems they are facing. But how to go about doing that, I think a lot of this comes from, mentors like Kevin and Jim and Michael and asking the questions. So be consistent, show up, ask the right questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions.
Yeah, I like that. Sporadic engagement creates sporadic results.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jim, let's talk about that a little bit.
Let's talk about sporadic results.
Yeah, Jim, you're all, what a great segue. Thanks a lot.
Thanks
a lot.
You are the expert on sporadic results.
No, let's talk about, you're coming from being in an established business in Chula Vista for 50 plus years. So like, what is the need to even have a network at this point beyond the one that was already there with Prescott and Lowther and then Randy retiring and you taking it over? Like, don't you just have it all figured out, Jim?
No, people go away. So you need to find new clients all the time. And as we've talked about, it's changing all the time. In my business, the laws are changing, the premiums are changing. So I found that SB Elevate fits a need between, I'm a part of a hard networking group, I would say, where we have that resources of all the referrals. I know a podcaster person, I know, another type of insurance person, but SB Elevate fills that need like what Deepti was talking about, almost a mentor type situation where should I do this? And then you can get feedback from everybody on one question, not just like I know a person. It's like, let's all talk about this, how this works for my business. And maybe listening to you gives me great ideas for how I can change things in my own business. So that's how I found it. When they asked me to be on the board, I was thankful that they did, but I didn't realize, honestly, I think I told Kevin about this. I didn't realize I had so much to share. Like I have been in business for a long time since the covered wagons. And then I find myself, instead of hey, I know I already went through this once. Here's what I did. And, Kevin will chime in and other people will chime in. And I'm like, well, then I feel great about helping somebody in a situation that I already was. And personally, like Deepti was talking about these conferences that we did on AI, and we did one on marketing. I should know. My wife was on the board. I should remember that one. But I learned things on there that I use AI. I use AI in our hard networking meetings. So I learned all this little stuff that I can just add to my business to grow my business, which ultimately my goal is to be grown up like Kevin and retire and not, have to go to my business every day. That would be wonderful. So I'm trying to put all these things together from these mentors that I'm around. So
you could be next in line. Randy found a Jim. Jim can find someone else, and then you and Randy can just go have breakfast together.
We're trying. I'm trying not
revolution.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because I describe SB Elevate to people like a brain trust. I get to talk to people who have decades of experience, even though I've been around for 21 years now in town, which is enough, but it's not 35 and it's not 52. And there's something in that despite things changing, I know Randy was here, but but the helpful part to me is there are household names also in our group that have gone through all of the economic ups and downs that the city in general has. And I'm going to use Dolores as an example, and Lolita's. Okay. They just, I think a year or two ago had their 40th anniversary, and they have multiple restaurants in town. They've been through all the good times and all the most recent difficult times of not even being able to serve people in person, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, what does she have to say about this? I don't serve thousands of people every year. So on one hand, you'd be like, well, then that doesn't matter to you. But I'm very curious about that, because I want to know how to grow and scale at the same time. And having voices in the room, whether it's at the exchange or it's in person, has been of tremendous value to me, because I know I don't know everything. I know some things extremely well. And there's others that I need the voice of, I'll say, an elder who's gone before me to chime in, who's unemotionally involved in the thing to help me make the right choice. And that's been super helpful. So thank you for that, all you two, not just these guys, CT. Yeah, it's just our elders joining us today.
Not the young people.
Now, I realize I am the baldest one here today, and I've been the baldest the longest.
Today, I was like, I envy Andy.
I've been bald since I was 29. It's been a minute. I'm going on 19 years. Wow, that's a long time now.
On the mastermind part, right? The key too on that is not everybody has the answer. And so you don't want just opinions, because we all have opinions. Yeah. If you're really struggling through something, you want someone that's been through that grinded through it, looked at all the options and got through the other side. Because if it's just an opinion, they hadn't gone through the grind, they hadn't figured it out. So even if there's a question asked that I don't know, I'll say, hey, I don't know that. Let's find an expert on that, because if not, it's just an opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And also, I think there's another component I want to mention too, is the depth of the relationships in the room is there. Now, sometimes people casually lob that out there, oh no, lots of people. That's great. But when you actually know the fire chief and you know the people at the city office and you know the right person in permitting to ask a certain question about your company or whatever, those things can really matter to actually get the answer you need or the result you need to open up your shop or officially start conducting business and all that. So there's more than just the events and the activities, which already provide a lot of value. But I'll tell you, some of these relationships are coming in handy in critical times for people too. I think that's also a testament, I would say. I'm going to scratch your back for a second. It's a testament to Kevin, your work, and Michael's in town, and even yours too, Jim, for being here so long. I mean, when you guys are oh yeah, we're going to have the mayor come in and talk, oh, okay. Well, I guess John McCann's coming today. We're going to hear all about what's happening next to Chula Vista and this amazing city we have. So I think that really matters. Not every room gets those kind of people.
Well, and I think the key with that, right, is you're putting in social capital throughout the years, right? You see something going on in the city, you see the police chief going through a really difficult time, and you're sending them a thank you note for what they're doing for our city and our kids and keeping them safe, right? You do that along the way. When you call them up and you need something, they're going to remember you, because they don't get thank you notes. And let's face it, there's so much negative things towards city officials and everyone. It is a hard role. And we really do want to support them. Now we have to keep them in check if we disagree with what's going on. But there's lots of good things that they're doing, and we need to support that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great segue, Kevin. You know what I was going to ask you next?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you each to talk about what you feel, what's a good thing that's happening in Chula Vista right now that you're inspired or encouraged by. So great segue, Kevin. Take it away. What's something you're encouraged by that's happening in Chula Vista right now?
Well, I think if I heard this right on the last statistics, we have 11,000 business licenses right now in Chula Vista, right? So it's really growing because after COVID, we lost a lot of businesses, unfortunately, some of the great ones that were around a long time. So that is really, and it's a lot of them are micro businesses, right? Like I started literally, me and my wife started, we didn't even have a garage, it was a 2-bedroom condo, right? But then we ended up building our own building, thousands of customers and employees. But I love the fact that people are picking Chula Vista to move to and start a business. So they're seeing the good things. It's sort of like what the World Cup did for our country, right? They saw so many great things in our country, right? We got to remember that. We have an awesome city.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had to have friends come down from our networking events, one thing I got from them, they go, wow, it feels like a family. You know, like you guys have each other's back. If something happened, like we're there. And I love that about South Bay, all of the South Bay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Deepti, how about you?
Oh, so as a newer member of Chula Vista, resident of Chula Vista, I would say like I had never been to Chula Vista before I started looking, where I want to start this business. And once I came to Chula Vista, I was still like, my business was here. I was living in North County, going back and forth. But as I started going around Chula Vista and South Bay, all of South Bay, it was like, this is where I want to move. And I think I had that conversation with Kevin, Michael, all of them. This is where I'm serving people. So this is where I want to move. Chula Vista and all of South Bay has something very unique that I have not seen in the rest of San Diego. I walk down the street and I would see at least 2-3 people who would just randomly say good morning or have a great day. You don't see that anywhere else. And so now I'm a big proponent at telling people, you should come to Chula Vista. You should move to South Bay. And that's important. I've moved around quite a bit in my life. And for the first time in many decades, yes, I'm older than what you guys think. In many decades, I feel like I finally found a place I can call home. I've moved around quite a bit, so I'm not going anywhere.
That's awesome. A place to call home. I like that. Actually, that sounds really good, doesn't it?
That does sound
I would also say that, everything Kevin said, the underlying theme with Chula Vista and South Bay and what SB Elevate does is community. Everything you mentioned highlights the importance of community and how it is at the center of everything we do here, be it businesses or residents or anything else that goes around in South Bay.
How about you, Jim?
Well, I would say for 20 years, people had been saying, like, we always heard the statistics of people driving out of Chula Vista to go to Mission Valley and Sorrento Valley to work. I feel like it's finally starting to have that dream come true where people are actually living and staying and working in Chula Vista. And we're seeing, the east side blow up with the whole Millennia Project and all the businesses there, all the new stuff coming to that area. We were sharing before we started about actually having restaurants in Chula Vista. That's fairly recent.
restaurants and hotels.
Like we had one like on 8th Street, I won't name it, but that was our Chula Vista, and you always had to go to Mission Valley or downtown to go to dinner. And now as I'm getting older and lazier, I'm like, I have all these restaurants very close to me that are great to go to. And I rarely go downtown to these great new restaurants that are there, but because I go to my favorites here. So the other thing that we talk about, community, it seems like there's a whole group of people that just are involved with everything. And you can't go to a restaurant, Costco, walk down the street without saying, I know this person, I know this person. Yeah. I know my kids would always gauge, let's see if we can get through Costco without dad knowing somebody, or, and that goes on forever. I'm sure for you, Andy, but it's so good to see people involved with each other. And there's a whole kind of middle layer that people refer to, but they're active and care about what's going on, like truly care. I mean, that's, I believe, why Michael and Kevin started this group, because they they ooze careness. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
That's not.
They
I don't
ooze
think
careness.
that's
Yeah.
like our
absolutely.
hometown, but
Yeah, they exude caring. How
they
about that?
exude.
Business
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Ooze sounds like they got shot.
I was literally I was not driving. I was running home from the office from here to my house. Like that once a week, I'm like trying to like run home. So like, hey, Caitlin, here's the car keys. Go. Like I have no other choice. I'm running home the other day, and I'm at the intersection. Beep beep. What's up? Like, hi, Michael. It wasn't Michael Monaco. It was a different Michael. But
No.
hey, what's up, man? Don't take a picture of me at the sidewalk. Well, actually, you know what? Do that's social proof that I ran home.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, Jim, I'm originally from Boston, and I had my niece here this week, right, from Boston. And one of the things she said was just what you said. She goes, I've never been somewhere where people are in the line at the grocery store and they're talking to each
Yeah.
other and being nice to each other. And she goes, you have a nice city that you live in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two things I'm really excited about. They're both kind of development related, but I think that they're going to be like anchors for a next, half century to century in Chula Vista. The sports complex on the west side is number one, and the entertainment complex / library is number two. And when the Gaylord Hotel was finally underway, and then it was built, and they had like the grand opening, you're like, wow, after all this time, there's finally a thing there. And then it was like the only thing there.
Yeah.
But, and you go, oh, well, there's all this other stuff coming. And you're like, yeah, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
We've lived in Chula Vista forever. And then you're like, oh, wait, the sports complex is getting legs. It's getting attention. Oh, now it's got some initial backing and some interest, and it's going to become a thing. And I see it like morphing into the next thing that's going to happen. I'm like, oh, this is going to have a real shot. And then it can be a place where we actually have a lot of engagement in the community in that way too. I think that's going to be of great value to the whole city. Many, many, many years ago, the Olympic Training Center was like this really cool development, but it was only for the Olympians, and we weren't using it to the public and whatever. And it's an awesome facility. But I do think that the sports complex can really kick off an entire new, like, multi-decade facelift for Chula Vista on that side that draws a lot of new attention. And then as far as the library over there at the new building in the Millennia Project, it's a pretty substantial project. That project is massive. There's a second phase for potential development with the Chula Vista Entertainment Company, and talking with those guys has been interesting too, to see their vision on what creative arts can come to San Diego. I know that they were recently recipients of an SB Elevate Award.
Yeah.
I think last month in June, and that was really cool too. So those are my two things that I'm really excited about for Chula Vista coming up.
Well, and we got the 4-year university project as well, right out there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really, really cool things that happen. I'm with you on the sports complex in the Gaylord, because there has been an east to west thing where east has had all the new stuff, the new restaurants, the new hotels, and there wasn't as much investment on the west side. I see this totally balancing it out to make all of Chula Vista just an incredible place to live and work.
Yeah. It's gonna be even more beautiful than it already is right now. And like, I'll say complete. I think complete's the word I was like just trying to search for.
Yeah.
It's a very simple word. I couldn't find it, guys, but I was like, I think complete's, that's the word I'm looking for. So, tell me specifically. I'm gonna go this way because we gave Kevin more time to think about it. What are you most encouraged by in your own business right now, Jim? Because you mentioned things are changing a lot. So outside of our city, like just make it personal for a second. What are you most encouraged or excited about when it comes to what you're doing?
Well, I would say that in contrast to what I opened this podcast with, that I am using some technology to help free my time up. I had the opportunity to we mentioned Randy Prescott, my business partner for 20 years or so. He retired 4 years ago, and I didn't realize the amount of phone calls and double the work that I had. And it kind of took me away from things that I used to enjoy, like golfing and being away from the office. But I'm starting to use technology a little bit to leverage some of those things for me and still have the personal touch. So I'm excited about the growth that our business has had, the ability for me personally to financially get out from under some of those things, like paying the business off. And so personally, it's been great for me the last 3 or 4 years. And I look forward to, my goal would be to expand where I have more employees possibly. And again, be more of the quarterback for the business and not be so much the running back. Look at that sports complex, like took that all the way around.
It kind of sounds like you know what you're talking about. Wow.
Yeah.
Not just taking the handoff up the middle, getting knocked out.
I want to go with all that stuff.
All right. Deepti, how about you? What's something you're real encouraged or excited about these days?
So happy with the growth the company has had over the last year or so. Our focus next is, going Chula Vista or South Bay and Coronado, where we operate, has a huge veteran population. So the goal is to partner with, again, going back to the community, theme, partner with organizations that work with veterans and can service veterans. We are a TRIBUS credentialed HHA and respite care provider, uh, trying to solve the problem of there is a need for home care, but who is paying for it? And a lot of veterans in our experience don't even know this is something that's available to them, and other benefits outside of what we can provide. So kind of partnering with other organizations and bringing veterans together to kind of educate them on what's available for them, and see whether if we can collectively help that population do better, and stay home in enjoy their well-earned retirement.
Yeah, their benefits.
Mhm.
Well, pulling a page out of Kevin's comment earlier about, who else knows the kind of customers I'm looking for. Who is that in South Bay that is already talking to those veterans that might just be a conversation ahead of referring you?
Yeah. So I'm part of San Diego Veterans Coalition. I'm a member now. I'm also working with folks from DAV. Again, I go and say, I don't know this, but I do know veterans who are looking for this information. Can you help? And I've helped them set up appointments, taking them to their PCP appointment, or just explaining to them, here is what you can do. I don't know exactly how, but I'm going to find somebody who knows, and we will navigate through this together. So there are a lot of organizations where Veterans Village of San Diego. I was just at the stand down last weekend at the Veterans Village of San Diego. So a lot of organizations that are focused on veterans and what they need. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just need to all come together and collectively see how we can navigate them through, their benefits.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And a quick pit stop there. If you're watching this episode and you're listening to this and you are in that same space where you're actively serving our veteran community and you do not yet have a group to plug in like Deepti's, this is a great time to hit that pause button and go in the description box and find her contact information so you can reach out to her and you can connect. Thank you for sharing all that. Kevin, I know this is a little bit of an anomaly question to you. Like, what are you so excited about in business right now? I don't know, being retired,
Golfing,
golfing, being out of the office,
networking on the golf course.
Yeah, you're making Jim jealous over here, or more jealous, I guess. Yes. What's something that you're excited, just in business in general? Is there something you're seeing from the sidelines of life that you're like, oh wow, that's great?
I think two things is one, I'm seeing people make more questions on long-term projects, where before people were nervous about committing to a 5-year program. They were worried about what the future was like. And I'm seeing all business owners and people more hopeful for the future. I'm starting to see that. And there was a period of time where people were really uncertain. And it's sort of like the World Cup, right? Where if you're just watching the news, you don't feel good about it. But if you really just look around and what's going on in the city, that we have 11,000 business licenses, right? You have people that want to support each other. And I'm a big believer nobody is successful on their own. So we have the Chamber, we have the South County EDC, we got the Bonita Optimists, we got the Better Business Bureau, right? We all care about our city, right? And we all do slightly different things to elevate everyone's businesses, but no one is successful on their own. You need great schools, great communities to live in. So I'm excited about the optimistic future of what's going on. And you see it like you were talking about. We actually talked about the Gaylord. We actually did it. We're doing the sports complex. We're doing the technology center. We're doing the university. It's getting done.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it is neat to see kind of that. I don't know if it's just. I want to say like pride of business coming back again, because it's not just that. It's like confidence that it's going to work. It was like that was missing for a season. And I think, part of that, because there just was generalized uncertainty, but then there's also very specified uncertainty too. Like certain industries are in much more duress right now than 6 months ago or 12 months ago. And we talked about this in the AI panel too, which is like, there are certain industries that are going to be under heavy, heavy pressure because AI is coming for your lunch. And there's some that, they're going to be around a lot longer because, I need a plumber to come and replumb my house. There's not a robot to do that yet. Yet.
Well, I think on that point too, is there's a lot of people that are in jobs that they know AI is replacing it. And they're actually thinking about working on the entrepreneur spirit and starting their own thing. Right. And you ought to actually do a podcast where you invite people in the community that are thinking about it and why they're thinking about it. Right. But I am excited about that, too, because that'll be future business owners that we can help.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And it's kind of like it's this catch-22 when it comes to AI specifically, because it's like, well, if I just want to resist using it altogether, I'll be a part of the resistance, right? Then it's like, oh shoot, my competitor's going ahead of me and they're racing ahead of me. I'm going to be out of business if I don't engage. And then I engage and I'm like, well, shoot, I'm selling out my soul into the thing. And so there is quite the quandary for some people. I don't know if it's just ethics or just their posture, but it is going to be something to contend with in the future, even just in the next couple of years. And I would imagine it's going to continue coming up in our Elevate exchange as well, because there's just no avoiding it right now. And I hate to say that like a defeatist too, but it's like it happens in the video space. Like, oh, don't you use this for that? And then I'm like, well, no, hold on. There's a computer. There's a personal part of this that does not require a computer's work to still do good work in the creative space. And if I just like hand it over to a machine, it's going to make what it thinks it should be making for us. And that's not what I want. I want it to be what we're collectively agreeing it should be.
Well, can you imagine not using Word Perfect in Excel because that's cheating and I need to use my typewriter and my pen and pencil? And,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it comes a point where, yes, you're concerned with their environment. You're concerned with the energy. Absolutely. And you should be. And we should be pushing on politics for really looking at that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can't use the technology, because the technology, what I love about technology is the speed of business. Business is moving so fast now that why would you not want to use something that makes your life quicker, better, faster?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I understand that. And I think it brings up another thing I've been talking a lot on a variety of different podcasts, which is, kind of two things hand in hand: contentment and rest. Like rest as a prerequisite for hard work and productivity versus a reward if you do it right. Oh, I worked hard enough today. I can go to bed at a decent time and take care of myself. No, rest is becoming much more, in sleep specifically, a much more important kind of topic beyond health and wellness, and the idea of contentment. So is it okay we talk about that a little bit? I'm curious to see what you guys think about that, because contentment, in some cases, contentment on the surface can look like, oh, you've given up on your hopes and dreams, have you? Like, no, I'm saying I'm content with my life looking this way. I'm okay walking down the street and people knowing my name or saying hi or being interrupted at Costco or whatever. And, I'd love to give you each a chance to talk about like the importance of rest on one hand, and then where do you find contentment, or what does contentment mean to you?
Well, I'll speak on my behalf. I feel like I'm not a laborer, so I'm not out there. It's a different rest, right? It's a mental rest. I feel like after a couple of hours, you realize you've been standing up. Now we stand up at our computers. Standing up, and you've been at it for a couple hours, and the strain, not just the physical strain of your eyes, but you're just cranking through stuff, and you need a physical rest as far as the work goes, just to go sanely through it. I should be taking time off and going golfing with Kevin, even though I don't have the time, because that would reset, a lot of what's going on. I found that earlier in my career, especially when I was trying to get going, I had financial goals, and you talk about contentment, and I wasn't reaching them all the time because they were always out of reach, like purposely out of reach. But then you're upset at yourself for not reaching something unreachable. And so there was a point where then I'm like, you know what? I'm able to get everything taken care of. I'm able to pay my bills. I'm able to go out to dinner when I want to. Just relax and get through it, and don't worry about it as much. And I found that contentment actually propelled my business because it didn't look like I was desperate, right? So it kind of switches from going to chamber events and trying to, like, as someone's talking to you about their business, you're waiting for your turn. You're not really listening. You're waiting for your turn to get in. You're a health insurance guy, because that's what they're really wanting to hear. So when you find that you're content, I think you're happy to listen to them and find out what's going on and change the conversation from what is it you do to what we do at SB Elliott. How can we help you? So what is it you need? Who are the people that would make your business grow? Like, what's your biggest problem right now? How can we help you with that? And then, you find that you're rewarded later down the road, maybe, who knows? But it just takes the stress off you, the mental stress. And I think that contentment is part of the rest that we need. I don't even know if I put that all
No, that's
together in one
great.
sentence.
No, that's great. There's kind of a hand in glove thing.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that they do go together.
Okay.
Yeah, I really think so, and I'm glad you shared it that way from your own perspective. DT, what does that mean to you? What does rest look like in your world? I mean, I feel like taking care of people when they're looking for like qualified hands-on help on the daily, that can be that. Like, I'm stressed out and I don't even do it. I'm sitting here in the comfort of my own space.
Yeah.
How do you qualify rest, and what's contentment mean to you?
So for me, initially, when I left corporate, I was already working like 15, 16 hours for my job. And then when I quit and I started this and I was doing the same thing, my sister had to remind me, remember, you work for yourself now. But I was also trying to get to a point where I understand business, who is my audience and how to go about doing things. So it was a lot initially, but then I had to, with the help of Kevin has reminded me multiple times to take a break. Michael has reminded me multiple times. So finally, when, I got to a point where I am kind of making time for myself and my family. And, Kevin mentioned in the last Elevate Exchange about 6 things he would write down, right, Kevin, to accomplish in a day. I think that goes a long way. You have to constantly prioritize. You can't get everything done, especially as a new business owner. There's a million things on my to-do list. I can't get to everything today. What are the 5, 6 things I can accomplish today? And then kind of, focus on that. Sometimes you realize after the fact that maybe I should have taken care of this other thing, but that's okay. You're still not going to get everything done. So it's okay to make mistakes because you're learning when you're doing that. So at the end of the day, and then the other thing I don't want to forget is delegation. Especially for me, it was hard. Like, I'm going to tell you to do it, but then I'm going to be on top of you all the time, whether you're doing it right or not. No, you have to trust your teammates. You have to trust the people who work with you and make sure that they may make mistakes too, just like I've done, But then that also goes back to once you have delegated and trusted and given them time to learn and do their job right, that also brings time back to yourself. And taking care of yourself is important when you are telling everybody else, hey, I can help you take care of you. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. Kevin?
I've always struggled with that part, being content. I've always kept moving the goals, moving everything, even in retirement. But I do believe that comparison is a robbery of joy, right? That you need to be content with your success. If you compare yourself to someone that has 2 more employees than you, right? That's not, just be content with your success. But I will agree that you do have to take care of yourself. Even though I used to work long hours, I always squeezed in fun. And now fun was generally related to business and networking. So it'd be golf or happy hour with people. I always believed in setting up pools outside of the stream of work where you're going 1,000 miles an hour, where you get people together for a whiskey party. Like me and Michael put together a watch whiskey party where everyone had to bring a unique watch and tell the story of why that watch is important to you while we're all sharing the favorite whiskey. And you talk about getting to know each other, right? I mean, you really, you start sharing about your grandpa and what this watch means to you while you're sipping whiskey. It's pretty cool.
Wow. All right, so our next whiskey and watch event will be on
At Kevin's house.
Yeah, Kevin's apparently he'll supply the whiskey. Bring your own watch. I think I just signed you up for that. Yeah, public sign up from old Andy in the corner. Another thing I was hoping to talk to you all about today, really has to do with this. We're in video space right now. We're on a podcast set. We're having this conversation. A lot of people are struggling with 2 primary things: vulnerability and imposter syndrome, whether it's privately or publicly. So part of what I'm hoping you can answer and address today is what have you done in the past to overcome imposter syndrome? And then what would you want someone to learn from you that you would want to say to compel them to help get them over that hump in their life and their business growth as well? Who wants to tackle that one first? Who wants to be vulnerable and talk about imposter syndrome first? I saw your hand, Kevin. Let's go for it.
I can honestly tell you, it's kind of funny. I never went to college, right? I did go to Southwestern College for key little things to learn, but not really to college. And when the business was smaller, I felt like I can do this. But when I really started growing and you got 25 employees and you got 5 managers and you're balancing everything and you're dealing with $1 million contracts, I can't tell you how many times I felt like I was an imposter. And honestly, one of the things about selling the business was I didn't have that anymore, right? I didn't have that feeling like a phony president up there with all these people because I winged it constantly. So I do think it's a real thing. I think it's more prominent than anyone realizes at every level. I mean, I know people that are presidents of large organizations, mayors and other things that they're like, how did I end up here? Right. And it's back to what we talked about. 80% is showing up, right? And you show up and you keep showing up and more opportunities and you get to do these things. But it really is a thing that adds to that loneliness because you feel like someone's going to figure out that, I'm not that smart,
Yeah, and I would hope that at the same time they have the admission enough to say that they're not that smart too. And I'm glad you answered that way. I'm in some creator rooms with people that have hundreds of thousands and millions of followers, and they talk about this. And so if it's happening, like you're saying, up and down all the ranks of financial success, name and title, years of business, and I'm hearing these in these offline groups that I'm part of in podcasting space and even social media content creation, it is a problem, and it is, I think, much more widespread than people are admitting and knowing. But I will also say that in conversations like this, people are talking about it. And okay, well, here's what I did. Here's how. So I'm happy to have you answer that, and also in retrospect as well. I'm glad you don't feel like an imposter anymore.
Yes,
you sold your business. You exited. Yeah, I'll tell you, recently some of the conversations that the guest hosts on some of these calls have been people who've exited. And they're talking about, well, here's why I did this and how I did that. And some of it was just figuring it out. We got a $1 million contract. We're like, wait a minute, we've only done a $500,000 contract at this point. What do I do now? It's not just double it. It's all this other stuff too. So thank you for addressing that.
Well, I had one of my long-term employees retire after 22 years. And on her exit interview to me, she asked me, she goes, Kevin, can I ask you a question? I go, yeah. She goes, how did you do this? And I go, well, you were here a long time. You saw it. And she goes, no, with how much you struggle with reading and writing, how were you able to do this? And I told her, and it's true. Everybody on my team is way smarter than me. And I never had an ego problem. I wanted people that I can go, hey, read over this contract. My wife is brilliant, smart. Right. And you have to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you because you can't know it all and you don't want to know it all. You want to be able to delegate.
Yeah.
So Deepti, let's talk about imposter syndrome. You came from a whole different industry and you're into this one now. How much of that did you had to encounter?
Andy, I'm not going to lie. Initially, I struggled because you walk into these networking events with a room full of people who have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. And they are using terminology you have never heard before. And I questioned myself, did I make the right decision? I had a decent job. Why did I quit? What am I doing? And the only thing I could kind of keep going back to is, and some of you know that I started this because my dad had Parkinson's. We struggled as a family to kind of find the right caregiver, navigate through the whole health care versus, non-medical care part of it. And I kept going back to, why did you start this? And it's okay. And it's okay to say, I don't know this. And it's okay to tell people and be authentic and say, I don't know. I'm here to learn. And I literally learned from every interaction I had. And people were open to say, don't worry about it. We have done senior care or have been in the senior care industry for a long time. Come join this group. Come join that group. Come sit with us. Come listen to us. Here is an event that's happening. You may benefit from it. So all the connections that I have made, even meeting Kevin and Michael was part of that. Hey, go join National City Chamber of Commerce. I went there. And then from there, I connected to all of you, basically. To Jim and Michael and Kevin. That's how it went. And so I think imposter syndrome was big time for me initially. And I was trying to just go day by day. It was a struggle for me, but you learn. And that confidence eventually, gets better. I'm not going to say I'm overconfident or super confident, but I'm learning still. So I guess
Yeah, I
that's
think
what it is.
there's also space where it's situational too. Like, and there's some times where I definitely don't feel like an imposter in the podcast space.
Yeah.
But man, I feel like an imposter figuring out how to implement AI in what I'm doing right
Yeah.
now. I'm like, sure, I can log in, I can do some prompts here and do some things here, but I haven't figured out how to make it like most effective for me yet.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I want to. So I'm in that in between road still in my own journey, where I find myself in business here and then integrating all those things. But then I get asked about it. I'm like, I don't know.
But that's where you're being authentic too. I don't know, So I think authenticity is important in just be vulnerable enough to say this is what I am and this is what I'm not.
Yeah.
But I want to get there, and who can help me get there?
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Jim, what do you have to say about imposter syndrome, my friend?
Yeah, my whole career I felt like an imposter. But I keep going. I mean, we talked about like 80% of business is showing up, right? The more you show up, the more you figure out things. I know specifically there's a part in my career here that I was part of a board for insurance professionals associations. And somehow I found myself as the legislative chair for San Diego County. And I'm like, everybody in this room knows more than I do about this stuff. And here I am leading 20 people in Washington, D.C., and I'm having a meeting saying, this is what we're going to talk about with all these legislators. And the whole time I'm feeling like, I am just barely holding on here. I'm not trying to pretend I know more than I do, but it's like, you're like, okay, I just keep doing the next thing every day. This is what we're trying to accomplish. This is what we're trying to do. So I think, at that point, as some of you guys know, I'm pretty self-deprecating, and that's kind of my imposter release. Like, I'll just make fun of myself. That's fine. But
imposter relief valve.
It's like, let's make fun of me so it takes pressure off of me. That doesn't even make sense. But I just keep going every day. And a lot of times I feel like, who am I to be doing this? With this podcast thing, I'm going to be here.
Well, so part of me asking you guys this is because I'm gonna come back to the Elevate Exchange, and I'm gonna come back to the events in person. But this is a space where I've become extremely comfortable. It's what we do all the time, whether I'm here on the set or I'm behind the camera helping someone else produce and make the show. But what I've started to notice more, and this goes back to the confidence thing in business, and the uncertain times now becoming a little bit more certain, or people feeling there's better traction in the local economy for them to be able to be successful. Is it goes hand in hand with being who you are. And if you can show up in your best self, right? And I don't mean your pretend self, like I gotta be somebody else for people to like me or whatever. Just show up as you. Like, I look this way. I'm just going to show up this way. This is how I look. You're going to see me this way on Zoom. You're going to see me this way on camera here. And when we go golfing, if Kevin ever invites me, Jim, or to Whiskey and Watches, I've learned already today there's two things I have not been invited to by Michael and Kevin. That's okay, though. That's okay.
You're not alone there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll start our own things. We'll do a tequila and tiaras, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. I was looking for a rhyming thing real quick. I get that quick. But I'm brought this up because I think this is also something we're addressing with SB Elevate too. Having an anonymous question that you can bring to Elevate Exchange and have it answered. And then if you raise your hand, you're like, oh, that's the question I submitted. Wonderful. But the barrier for most people is I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to ask because people think I'm more successful than maybe it's going to be revealed that I am when I ask, how do you turn on the air conditioning in the corner by the kitchen or whatever it is. And I wanted this part to be us displaying that, as well as inviting other people who have not asked a question, who haven't signed up for Elevate Exchange yet, to come and talk to us and ask and get the answer to what they want. You're going to find yourself in common company. There's not a single one of us has been free from imposter syndrome at some point in our career, even if it was recently. And I just know that so many people are having this problem. And they need to find themselves in community with other people who have had it and for a different variety of reasons in different industries and maybe even different economic times too. But that common thread of having walked through it and seen the other side of it, I think is an additional huge value for SB Elevate. And so I wanted to ask you the question. That's why I wanted people who aren't even in our group yet to hear about this and find out that you're gonna find that among us here as well. So thank you for answering that, and also being that, like, legitimately thank you for being those people too, to say, you know what, I don't know, or you know what, I do know, and I'm gonna share a story about when I failed big time.
Well, that's what I was going to say is in the Elevate Exchange, I think when we're answering the question, almost every single answer is, this is how I jacked it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not, this is not like, this is how you should do it because this is how I did. This is what I did and it totally blew up.
Yeah.
I would go the other direction.
Yeah.
Almost every answer is that. So I don't think in that part we're like totally being vulnerable and saying, I screwed this up big time.
Yeah.
And it, to maybe don't do that in the future.
Yeah. No, I just think there is just something to be said for years in business, and messing up equates to greater success down the road. I don't know why exactly it works that way. It just seems like it's worked that way for so many people up to this point, and even through this point, from the covered wagon days, Jim, all the way to the AI days of today.
That's right.
So last thing before we close out the show, I want you all to have a chance to talk to prospective business owners that maybe they're not in a SB Elevate, maybe they heard about it, they haven't come to an event yet in person, or they haven't come to the Elevate Exchange. What's one thing you want to leave them with that would encourage them to take a part out of their extremely busy work life, just like we've done to even make the show today? We've taken time out of our work life to come and do this. What would you want to tell them they should consider and to come check it out?
Want me to go first in this one?
Okay, sure.
I would say two things. Everything happens in life through a relationship. So show up and get to know everybody. And two, you'll see that you're thinking you're coming to this meeting to solve this problem that you have because you asked that question. And somebody asks a different question that you didn't realize that you had that problem. And now you're walking away with two solutions.
That's good. That's good. Deepti, how about you?
I think as a new business owner, I would say there is no expectation. Like, you don't have to be ready for, to a certain level before you show up. Just come and be open to telling where you are. And, there are enough people in the group that would tell you, where you can go next and what your next step potentially should be. So I think there is no prerequisite per se, just show up.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, and I would say for new business owners, it's a great resource to find out something or two that they didn't know before and get some answers. But I'd say for seasoned business owners, you may be surprised at what you can share with someone else that helps your business eventually, but it feels great to be able to share your side of the story and help someone else. So that's what I found out of this. Not that I know everything. I learned something at every Exchange Elevate. But you'd be surprised at how you can help somebody else's business grow as well.
Yeah. My part here to answer my own question is, you're going to find people here that genuinely care about your success at the same rate that they care about their own. And maybe even they care about your success more than their own, because there have been times where someone answered a question to something else. I'm like, oh my God, that solves this thing over here that I didn't even recognize I should have applied that solution to, but now I can. And then also I found myself in a position where even beyond our call in a separate meeting, I can help somebody with something. Like, I've done that the wrong way, and I would love to help you avoid that catastrophe. Can you give me 30 minutes to just talk to you about it or whatever? And you'll find that here, not beyond this table with the four of us, but other members of SB Elevate. You're going to find people that really care about your success in business and avoiding some of the pitfalls that we've fallen into along the way. Yeah. So tell everyone, let's go down the row. Jim, what's the best way for everyone to contact you? If they have any questions that they want to ask you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Phone would be great, 619-420-7600, or jim@prescott-ins.com.
All right, Deepti?
Phone again, 619-836-0365, or email dkurup, KURUP, @comfortcare.com.
Kevin?
And since I'm the retired one, you can reach me in my retirement email, the number 4, the word retirement, number 4 @gmail, or give me a call, 619-861-5465. We're here to help.
You can also find Kevin at the golf course every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 a.m. sharp. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Where do you go play golf, by the way?
Well, we bounce around, but it's usually Thursday mornings. Although I am doing just a 6-week league right now with my wife at Bonita on Wednesdays at 5, just 9 holes, and that's been fun.
That's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One day I'll be able to say the same thing, Kevin. And I'll say, I'm living the life that my friend Kevin used to tell me about. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for all being here today for the inaugural SB Elevate podcast. What a wonderful crew. I'm so grateful for each of you individually, but also collectively. Thank you. I'm really happy that we got to do this tabletop conversation together, the 4 of us. And thank you to all of you watching the inaugural show for SB Elevate. If you are in business and you are looking to grow your business, you're looking to connect with other business owners who have been there, done that, and been able to live long enough to tell all about it, you can join us online and in person. In the description box below, you'll find the website for SB Elevate, and you from there can find our upcoming events and activities that you can participate with. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and we're so excited to share our next one with you with more SB Elevate members sharing their wisdom and knowledge with all of us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.